Once the initial electrical and mechanical work is installed and the concrete block walls are up, the next group in are the drywall trades, then followed by the painters. Let's start with drywall. This includes framers, insulators, the boarding crew, tapers, and the plasterwork crew. The first crew in are the framers. The framers read the construction drawings to determine the layout of where the walls are to be built, and then they mark the floor with blue chalk in a step called layout. Measurements are made by the framers, and then steel tracks and studs are cut and installed to create walls, ceilings, and bulkheads. Steel studs are used and required by the building code in condo construction because they're non-combustible. Using steel studs does give you really flat ceilings and straight and even walls. After the ductwork is installed, the framers return to box in around the ducts with steel studs. The steel studs and tracks are connected together by the framers using screws and cordless drills. Now for the next step, we bring in the insulators. This crew cuts and installs bats of insulating material and carefully installs them into the walls that call for this material. Sometimes it is required for thermal insulation, others to reduce sound transmission, and sometimes for both. After the insulation is passed by the building inspector, the next crew in are the boarding crew. This crew installs drywall sheets to the steel stud framing. Different types of drywall are used. The board crew must refer to the construction drawings to determine if a wall requires a thicker, special fire-resistant drywall or a tile backer board that is installed in wet locations. The boarding crew measures, cuts, and then secures the drywall to the steel studs with screws. Once the boarding is complete, strips of metal corner bead are installed to provide a strong and neat corner to the outside of the walls. The next crew in are the tapers. The tapers fill the seams between the sheets of drywall and the corners with drywall compound, typically called mud, to make the drywall installation a smooth, even, and paintable surface. 3 coats are typically applied. Each coat must dry, then at the end be sanded and smoothed so that it's ready for primer. The next trade in is the plasterwork crew. Specialty products are mixed together to the right consistency, then applied onto the concrete ceilings with a hock and a trowel. This is very skilled work requiring a steady hand. With time and experience, a plaster applicator leaves behind a perfect, smooth surface ready for paint. One last thing. All drywall work starts with a drywall estimator who calculates the necessary materials and the work hours anticipated to perform the work. Also calculated with that is the cost of the work, which leads to pricing jobs. Once the drywall work is finished, next in are the painters. The first step is to apply a coat of primer to the finished drywall ceilings and the walls. Then, after the carpenters install the doors and the trim, the painters start by patching the holes left by the nails. Also in preparation for painting, the painters clean away sawdust and debris and then fill the small gaps between the trim and the walls with caulking to give a really nice finished appearance. Spray painting equipment is set up in a central location for efficiency, and a long hose makes its way to the spray gun. Spray painting is the most common method of painting these days. It gives a very even and smooth finish. Start first by spraying side to side, And then once you get to the top, up and down for full coverage.
For more videos and resources, go to www.boltonline.org.